Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hockey Paradise, presented by Advent Health. We are here in the Hockeyverse getting ready for a great matchup between the good guys, the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, with a win today, could put themselves in first place in the Atlantic, and the bad guys, the New York Islanders, who also, with the win, could get in a good position to make in the playoffs.
Well, it's Kids Day here in Tampa Bay, but it's always Kids Day in the Hockeyverse, and today we're going to have a bunch of fun.
Absolutely, Kobe. Our puck fans are ready to go, sporting the Bolts, and there is nothing but blue around this Tampa Bay and Hockey Paradise. Everybody's ready to go. I don't know who's more excited, me or all these puck fans we got going here. Even the Manatees getting involved.
Wow, our environment today, there is not a bad seat in the house. You could be on the beach watching a hockey game. Where can we say that?
Not only on the beach, but even on a roller coaster later. Well, I'd like to say I'm Wyatt Ross. I'm a 16-year life veteran, and I'm joined by Brandon Coburn, a 16-year NHL veteran.
Well, Wyatt, you can call me Kobe. That's what all of my friends call me. I'm excited to partner with you today to have a bunch of fun watching this real-life hockey game. Everything that happens on the ice today is good. We're going to see in live action in the Hockeyverse.
I am beyond excited to watch this animated matchup. It should be a great game. Every time the Bullets and the Islanders meet, it's always a fun one. I can't wait for this one to start, Kobe.
Well, let's take a look at what we are going to see today in our Hockey Paradise environment. And Wyatt, it's everybody's favorite mascot, Thunderbug. He's going to be having tons of fun, maybe even getting into a little trouble today.
He's been buzzing around all pregame, waiting for this one to start. I'm not even ready to see what he's going to do during the game. It might get a little bit crazy here in Hockey Paradise.
Well, that's one way to make an entrance on a jet ski, I'll tell you what. And there's famous Thunder Alley. That's where everyone gets ready for the game. We got music, we got games, and people are getting pumped up to support their Tampa Bay Lightning.
Never seen a more energetic crowd than at Thunder Alley, especially come end of the season and playoff time.
Wow. If you're not on the beach getting a tan, you might be on a hockey stick, water skiing, or you could be on this pirate ship. Those look like a good way to watch the game.
And who knows, we might even see Sparky, the Islanders mascot, walking the plank later, depending on how this game goes.
Well, if he's not walking the plank, he might be on one of these roller coasters. There's not a bad place to watch today's game.
Where else but in the Hockeyverse can you ride a roller coaster, be on a pirate ship, or jet skiing around a hockey rink watching a hockey game?
Well, there's one thing I know, Wyatt. Today is going to be a bunch of fun. You guys are in for a treat, and our puck fans, they're getting hydrated. They got their sunglasses on. They're ready for some great action.
Well, and I gotta tell you, Kobe, we don't know anything about this game right now, but what we do know is it is gonna be hot out today. And who knows, we might be playing some water polo by the third period because the ice is nothing but slick. But it doesn't matter because all in all, the outlook on today's game is nothing but fun.
Well, we're taking hockey in the Bay to a new level. This is gonna be something special. I'll tell you what right now, the one thing that I love about being in this environment is that it's just built just for kids. And Wyatt, as you know, kids love to have fun.
What more could a kid want in a hockey environment than what we have right here? Having fun in the sun, having fun in the water. I mean, this just perfectly embodies everything Tampa Bay represents.
Yeah, well, I like how I look right now. I like how you look. I think we are looking awesome. But let's take a look and to see what kind of players we're going to see today. And the one player that we're going to see today, he just hit a huge milestone, and that's Ryan McDonagh. He's just played in his 1,000th hockey game. Wyatt, that's a lot of hockey. And another thing that Ryan McDonagh does really well is he blocks shots. He's leading the Tampa Bay Lightning in block shots.
Absolute unit on the D-line. When I think defensive defenseman, I couldn't think of anybody else but Ryan McDonagh. A huge piece in the Tampa Bay Lightning back-to-back cup runs, and he's just been phenomenal all year, as he always is. He's even sporting some shades on the ice this time.
You gotta look cool. And another guy that's been looking really cool lately is Nikita Kucherov. And he might look cool on the ice, but he's been red hot on the score sheet. This guy has 105 points. He's only 3 behind Nathan MacKinnon for the Art Ross Trophy, which is awarded every year to the NHL's leading scorer.
And a three-point performance from Kucherov is nothing that we haven't seen already, so who knows, we might see him take the lead in this game.
I'm excited. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so glad I'm doing this with you, Wyatt. Let's do this.
All right, let's just get right into the action. I couldn't wait any longer.
Well, today we're going to take a look at who's in net, and we're used to seeing Andrei Vasilevsky in the net, but we are going to see JJ Johansson. He is from Sweden, and he's Tampa Bay's backup goalie, but he's not like any backup goalie. He's been red hot this season, and JJ at 6'5", he is a wall out there.
He's already picked up 7 wins for the Bolts so far, looking to make it 8 in what should be a great matchup this game.
Yeah, and JJ, one thing that he has to do is he has to make sure he is always ready, because Andrei Vasilevsky's played some of the most hockey in the NHL this season. He's leading NHL goalies in games played. So when Johansson, when he gets out there, he has to be ready to go. And I think he's going to be ready to go for our Kids' Day today, Wyatt.
I could not agree more with you, Kobe. And he wouldn't be ready to go quite as good as he is every single game if it wasn't for the blue line that we have in front of him. It's been great defensively for the Bolts. And offensively, the guy who's got the puck right now, Hagel, has been on fire lately, Kobe.
He sure has. And you know what Hagel's nickname is, Wyatt? It's Bagel. And I think he has been all over the place, and he's kind of like an everything Bagel. He can give you great defensive play. Offensively, he's going to be all over the ice. Power play, penalty kill. He's got it all.
You know, Kobe, I'm not really sure where you got that nickname from. I don't see the resemblance between Hagel and Bagel there.
Well, just because in hockey, nicknames don't always make sense, Wyatt.
What was your nickname when you were playing hockey, Kobe?
It's always been Kobe. Always been Kobe.
Well, man, just looking at this environment as we're playing hockey, you see the puck fans in the water watching the hockey. Some are on jet skis. You might even see Thunderbug zooming around the rink as we get on with the action here.
Well, it's worth noting again, Wyatt, everything we see on the ice today is exactly what happens in the real-life game.
Look at the Lightning go. They're already getting a bunch of pressure here. We see one of their best lines, might be the best line in the hockey league. Point, Gensel, and Kucherov. Would not be surprised to see them get the action going early for the Bolts.
Well, all season long, they've been doing the heavy lifting offensively. These three have over 100 goals on a line together.
And there's another one. Kucherov puts it home just over 2 minutes into the game, and the Bolts are on the board already.
While the Lightning strike early. That is a fantastic goal by Nikita Kucherov. And Thunderbug, he's lighting the Tesla coil up. What a goal by Kucherov. And we kind of thought that maybe Kucherov would be on the score sheet today, and it didn't take him long at all.
Hey, only 2 more points now, and he'll have the league lead because he has just been phenomenal all year. Who else but Kucherov to get it started for the Bolts? Just a beautiful shot. I don't even know. 2 minutes in, and he's already on the board. That just shows you why he's one of the best players in the National Hockey League.
There's no doubt about it. Cooch is a sniper.
Not only has Cooch been great for the Bolts this year, but so has Victor Hedman.
Victor Hedman has been a beast. It's his first year as captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's the longest serving Lightning player, but at 6'6" and 140 pounds, Vic is flying out there today. And you know what else he does? Why is Victor loves to fly airplanes. His grandfather in Sweden was a military pilot, and I think that's where Victor's love of flying must come from.
Maybe that's why he's always flying around on the ice. Every single game, he's a force on the blue line. I don't know who I'd rather have on my team, McDonough or Hedman.
Well, the Lightning are fortunate because they have both of them, and both of them have over 1,000 games. So not only are they great hockey players, but they got experience, and they're huge leaders in that locker room.
Great veteran presence to have on the team. Now we'll look at the Islanders. The Islanders have been struggling as of late. Out of their last 4 games, 3 of them have gone to overtime, though. So maybe we get some 3-on-3 action in this game?
Well, the one thing about the Tampa Bay Lightning, they like to start quick. And you could see with that Nikita Kucherov goal that they did just that. And they put that New York Islanders a little bit on their heels now. They're going to have to be chasing the next 2 periods from behind.
The Bolts in the last 2 games have put together a combined 14 goals, winning 6-1 against Pittsburgh and then 8-0 versus Utah. Not many other teams in the National Hockey League can do stuff like that.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And when you outscore the opponent by 8 goals, like the Tampa Bay Lightning did against the Utah Hockey Club, I would say everyone's getting hot at this right moment, because with 10 games left in this regular season, you want to make sure that you're clicking on all cylinders, and that looks like what the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing right now.
And I'm not sure if we saw Thunderbugs zooming around the ice rink right there, but if our fans do pay close attention, you might see him going all around our floating ice rink on his jet ski.
Well, Wyatt, let's go back and let's take a look at this Nikita Kucherov goal that we saw from earlier. And one of the things that I love about Nikita Kucherov is that he shoots in stride and he beats Sorokin. That was just a fantastic job. When you're moving your feet like that and you're shooting in stride, it's extremely hard for goalies to pick up. Nikita Kucherov knows that, does that to a T. And what does our puck panel think? They approve.
I don't know about that blue glasses puck panel member. Might need to get him off the board. Only a 9 on that goal. 81-mile-per-hour shot while he's moving to get the game started, and you give it a 9. I need to have a talk-in with him.
Well, I think our puck people, we're going to see a lot of them today. They are all over our environment, and you know what? They're going wild. They're just as excited as us to watch some great hockey.
And speaking of our puck panel, if the Bolts keep up this pressure that they've been having all game, we're going to see a lot more 10s coming out of that crew.
Well, this is a 10 out of 10 start for our Hockeyverse and our Hockey in Paradise. I'll tell you what, Wyatt, this has been some great action early on.
Absolutely, it has been phenomenal. And the Bolts, they're just always buzzing. I've never watched a game where the Bolts don't start the game flying. They're always out there, and as we mentioned earlier, that always starts at the leadership with Hedman and Coach John Cooper.
Yeah, it sure does. Those guys, they lead the way, and we have a Lightning icing here. Well, look at that. That is so cool. What a cool thing. And we're getting a live look from the top of our Hockeyverse. You can see exactly what's going on. There's so much going on today. It is crazy. And the fans today, they're excited. They're jumping up and down. They're on the edge of their seat. And of course, it's the teddy bears. They're all over the place.
The teddy bears might be getting a little bit wet here in the ocean or in the bay that they're watching the game from. I saw him sitting in the water on one of them, but nobody's been rowdier than our Puck fans. Maybe a little bit too many of the Islanders fans I'm seeing out there. And there's a live look at our bear. I'm not sure. He might be getting a little damp coming up pretty soon, but it's all for good reason as he's watching his Bolts play.
Absolutely, and he probably approves. That J.J. Johansson save on the last series of clips there, that was teddy bear approved, I think, as well.
J.J. Johansson has been doing awesome for the Bolts, already filling in for Vasi. It's obviously a very important position to play backup goalie when you're filling in for one of the best in the league, but he's been doing a great job at it, not only this game, but he's been doing a great job at it all year.
Well, when your team scores early and you're the goaltender, any sort of cushion is exactly what you want to have.
The Bolts, again, just keep on applying pressure. I think it's been in their zone the entire time.
Well, we're taking a look here, and you know what? There's the party boat. Everyone's having fun, and you know what? You know who else is having fun, Wyatt?
Well, Bolts Nation, I gotta tell you, celebrate when the Bolts get the W with Papa John's. That's right, parents. The day after every Bolts victory, that's every win the Bolts get, you and your family can enjoy 50% off your online order of regular menu price pizzas. Just use the promo code BOLTSW, so be the Thunder and feed your hunger. Papa John's is the official pizza partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I don't know what's better, watching the game from the Bay or watching the game at home with the Papa John's pizza.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one, Wyatt. I know these guys out here, they are hungry for this puck today. There's some great action today. It's back and forth. I know the Islanders have been scored on early, but they are starting to push back for this hockey game right here.
And speaking of outdoor hockey games, this is actually the first time the Bolts will host an outdoor hockey game against any team, and they're going to get their second one coming up pretty soon, February 1st of 2026 in the Stadium Series against the Boston Bruins.
Well, yeah, they're going to be playing in the NFL Stadium where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. They're not going to be playing in the middle of an inflatable rink in the middle of the bay, but it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that. These guys right now, they're focused on this game right here, right now, and it's been hard hitting. This has been some great action that we've seen. The puck has been up and down the ice. I just love to watch the speed of these players.
Every time the Bullets and the Islanders get together, it's always a close game, always a physical matchup, and I know you were a part of one of our playoff series against the Islanders. What's it like to play against this team?
Well, it's always hard hitting and fun, man. I gotta say, it's great.
Again, the Bullets just keep on getting pressure. It's gonna circle out. Another goal for the Lightning! They hammer it home, and it looks like it might have been, I believe that might have been Perbix that got the final shot on that one.
It sure was Nick Perbix with the goal. And Thunderbug, he's been busy today already early, firing up the Tesla coil. And yeah, Wyatt, it's Nick Perbix sneaking down the back door. The Bolts with some great pressure. And Perbix, he saw an opportunity, came down, got this on his forehand, and he beats Sorokin. That was a great shot by Nick Perbix, who's not normally known for his goals, but that is a great way to score. And now, with a 2-0 lead, in over 8 minutes in this game, the Lightning, they're off to a hot start.
And another 9 rating from Blue Glasses. I'm gonna have a talk with him at intermission, but I'm not sure what's more hot right now. Us calling this game from under the hot sun, or the Tampa Bay Lightning to start it off?
Well, it's been fun so far. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have been scoring goals in bunches lately. 2 already today, 8 last game, the 6th the game before. But let's take a look at this goal. You know, we had lots going on. This is Nikita Kucherov on the short side for the first goal of the game. And then, just as we saw, Nikita Kucherov working his magic again, gets this puck to the corner. This puck just squirts out, and Perbix with the goal.
Stick around as the Bolts are red hot. 2 points for Kucherov. Do we see a third one coming up soon? Stick around and find out. Welcome back to Hockey Paradise, fans. The Bolts are red hot, and we're giving you a live view of our blimp up in the Tampa Bay sky.
That's so cool. I can't believe we got a blimp. And look at that, there's another plane. And here's our buddy Thunderbug. He is definitely not scared of heights. And that is one way to deliver the puck for the faceoff. He puts that thing on a parachute, Wyatt. Where do you think that thing's gonna end up?
Hopefully it'll end up in the back of the New York Islanders net pretty soon, but it might not have to do it on its own the way the Bolts are playing right now.
They've been playing really well, and I'm sure the New York Islanders are on their heels. They're wondering what happened in this hockey game.
Seems like these first 8 minutes just flew by, and they're already down 2-0, but that's what happens when you play the Tampa Bay Lightning with their fast-paced hockey.
Well, and you're looking at a guy like Nikita Kucherov. He was instrumental in both goals so far, and he's kind of like a magician out there, Wyatt. He sees things that other players don't. He's able to find holes, and he's been known to find guys that you're like, you watch a play and you think, how did he see that guy coming? Nikita Kucherov, he's a magician out there. That's all I have to say.
And we're getting a live view of Kucherov right now. I wish traditional broadcasts had this, but you only get it in the Hockeyverse. We can focus in on individual players, and getting a live view of Kucherov is just like, where's the best player on the ice? And we go right to Kucherov every single time.
Well, if you really want to know what it's like to be an NHL player, you get a view almost like inside of Kucherov's head. You're seeing what he gets to see. That is the beauty of this kind of world, and seeing these kind of angles. And you know what? Kuch, he looks good on the ice, and he looks really good in the Hockeyverse as well.
I completely agree with you, Kobe, and I don't know, the offense for the Lightning has been really good so far, but somebody not getting a lot of attention right now. Jonas Johansson filling in for Bassey has been rock solid for the Bolts right now, and that all starts with the defense. McDonough, obviously this is now his 1,001st game. He got the nice ceremony before it started. So maybe we see a goal out of McDonough coming up here.
You never know. The Mack truck, he is a two-way player. As well as he plays on the defensive side, he's been known to chip in on the offensive side as well.
I know he just got his 3rd goal of the year when they played Pittsburgh. So hey, what's a 4th one, right?
Well, Yanni Gourde has the puck right there, and we know Yanni very well. He played for the Lightning in their 2 Stanley Cups, and then he went to the Seattle Kraken for 3 seasons. But guess what? Yanni's back to try to bring home Lord Stanley's Cup for a 3rd time in 5 years.
A familiar face for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Jonas Johansson Rock solid, as I said. A great set of saves right there. New York Islanders fans watching from the cold Long Island. Not sure if they're colder or the New York Islanders are colder to start this game. Stick around and watch Jonas Johansson make some more great saves.
Wyatt, we're back. We're having fun in the sun. There's nothing better than hockey in Tampa. Sunshine, sand, I don't know, we got a little bit of everything today. And of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning have built a nice little lead in this first period with a 2-0 lead over the New York Islanders.
Well, it looked like those pucks that we just got a view of were doing their best replica of the Tampa Bay Lightning power play, just passing it to each other. No, you get a turn kind of method.
Well, one of the things about Tampa that is awesome is the Tampa Bay Lightning have given over 100,000 ball hockey sticks out to kids in the Tampa Bay area. Talk about growing the game in Florida.
Nobody's been doing it better than the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Obviously, going to 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row will help increase the fan base, but they've been doing a great job of increasing it to the youth.
Well, parents, when the Bolts score 4 or more goals or shoot on an opponent, you and your family score too. With sticks for stacks for Wendy's, just visit any participating Tampa Bay Wendy's location within 24 hours after the game to receive a free double stack with any purchase. Talk about free, man. That's great.
And we just got a nice view of our Tampa Bay Lightning players on the bench. Looked like they were sporting some sunglasses out here in the sun.
Well, can you blame them? It is sunny. And sometimes when you're outside like this and the glare off the ice, Wyatt, I played in 2 outdoor games, and when I did, I always wore that eye black that like you see from NFL players, from the football guys. It really helps keep down the glare. But these guys got it right. They're looking really fly with their sunglasses on.
Well, Stadium Series coming up next year. The Bolts might have to look to add sunglasses into the uniform. And speaking of that, you know what my favorite thing about Stadium Series is every year whenever your team participates?
What is that?
New uniforms every single year. The Bolts are always doing a great job putting out some of the nicest unis in the league. Just take a look at the black alternates that they're wearing today.
Well, they sure do. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning have some of the best uniforms in the league. But I got to tell you, maybe today the black might have been the best choice. It might be kind of hot out there for these guys, but they look like they're cool because they're playing awesome right now.
And we get a live look in at Amalie Arena. You think it's weird for these players to be playing right outside of their home arena?
Well, I'm sure this is a little bit different. Maybe they took a jet ski to the game. They had to have gotten over to the rink somehow. Maybe Thunderbug helped them in the little party boat.
Speaking of jet skis, I remember a couple years ago, you guys and some other Tampa Bay Lightning players filmed a jet ski hype video. Can you talk me through a little bit of that?
Yeah, well, in Tampa Bay, you're always going to have fun. You're on the water, the sun is always shining, and you know what? It's just a great atmosphere.
So I heard you guys with Alex Killorn did film a little bit of a video. I remember I got a sweatshirt of him holding the cup on a jet ski. How much experience do you have on those things?
Well, I got to tell you, one of the best things about the Tampa Bay Lightning, a normal city, when they win the Stanley Cup or a championship, they have a parade. But in Tampa, they have the boat parade. And the boat parade, I got to tell you, cruising up and down on the Hillsborough River and seeing those fans on the stadium, on the shore, just cheering you on, it's so unique, it's so Tampa. And you know what? With Tampa Bay Lightning and their 3 Stanley Cups they've won, one in 2004, one in 2020, and one in 2021. They've been winning a lot, so they've been celebrating a lot.
And it's got to be a blast. Thunderbug getting in his practice on the jet skis now. He's maybe preparing, he's hoping for a 3rd Cup parade in the last 6 years.
Well, take a look at this. Thunderbug's getting into the action. He's on one of those roller coasters from Busch Gardens. And, you know, I got to tell you, Wyatt, I've been to Busch Gardens quite a few times with my kids. I think my favorite ride, Iron Quasi. How about yourself?
Well, I got to give you some insider information here. Right at the front of the park is Montu. Never more than 15 minutes for that ride. And other than Iron Gwazi, it might be my favorite, but I think we both got the same there. Nothing beats a ride on Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens.
So much fun, just like this game right now.
This game has been incredible. We're getting a nice little view at some board battling going on here. You don't really get those views on most of your broadcasts, and we just do it different here in the Hockeyverse. And speaking of doing it different here in the Hockeyverse, I don't know if our fans have seen in the background, we got a YMCA sandcastle back there. I think that might be a 3 or 4 story high sandcastle. Can you imagine building that on the Tampa Bay beach?
Well, that's one of my favorite things about going to the beach, Wyatt, is being in the sandcastle. But we have another icing here, and actually, I think it's time for one of my dad jokes. You want to hear it?
Do I?
Well, you're going to hear it anyway. All right, Wyatt, what's a hockey player's favorite part about his birthday party?
What is it?
It's the icing on the cake.
All right, all right. Hopefully that's the last one, and I'm sure there's more where that came from with your
You
dad
betcha,
jokes
buddy. There
going
sure
on there.
is.
Well, speaking of icings, though, there's so many ices in this game so far. I think they might have opened up a bakery afterwards.
Well, there's been a lot of pressure on the New York Islanders, and sometimes if you want to relieve defensive pressure, it's just good to get it down the ice and try to regroup.
That's what they've been doing the whole time. They've been trying to regroup, but the Bolts are staying strong with the offensive pressure, and Johansson has been solid in that form. As I keep mentioning, because he's just been doing a great job of filling in for the best goaltender in the league.
He sure has, and you can see these New York Islanders, they're going to be searching for offenses. They try to chase from behind, and one player that they're not going to be able to help them today is one of their offensive leaders, Matthew Barzal. And he was injured the last time these two teams got together, and you know what happened? He ended up breaking his kneecap. Talk about a tough break.
Absolutely, and 8 of their last 20 games, that's how many they've won since that Barzal injury. But now we get a nice look at the Jonas Johansson cam here, getting a look at what he's seeing. How often do you get to view exactly what a goalie is seeing from their eyes?
That is so wild. I love this. That is one position, Wyatt, that I never wanted to play. I'll tell you what, the idea of standing in front of a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot, that's not for me. I'll take playing offense or defense any day.
Well, I will tell you, I did always want to be a goalie, but whenever I'd ask about it, my dad would just give me a simple, no, you're a player, not a goalie. Might have something to do with the goalie pads or something.
Well, and you have to be extremely flexible. Guys like Johansson and Vasilevsky, they can do the splits on command. I think if I did the splits, you might have to take me to the hospital.
Well, one thing I've always noticed about the goalies, if you've ever seen a picture of them, especially Vasi and Johansson, they always have their eyes wide open. I don't know how they don't have to shut their eyes every minute just to clean them from how open they've been the entire game.
Well, we've seen some great action, and you know what? We are going to take a break. We're going to let our puck people get a quick drink, and we'll be right back into this game. Welcome back to Hockey in Paradise, and what a game we've had so far. And you're taking a live look at Penalty Island. I'll tell you what, Wyatt, that's one of the really cool things about our environment today. Where else in the Hockeyverse do they have a Penalty Island?
Well, I gotta tell you, my favorite part about this Penalty Island is the difference between what each team gets to deal with. The Islanders gotta deal with that hot, sandy bench. We all know how that feels if we've ever been to Tampa Bay. And the Bolts get to relax, maybe sip on some puck punch. And I'm not sure John Cooper will be too happy about that, but I'm sure the players will be.
Well, it's hot out. You gotta hydrate. I'll tell you that right now.
But one thing I would like to highlight is just how solid this defense has been. They've been locked down in front of Johansson, and I'm sure you have some stories about some of these defensemen.
Well, that's a great point. We've made a lot of talk about the goaltending, Vasilevsky, Johansson, how good they've been. But when you take a look at the Tampa Bay Lightning defense, you have a little bit of a mix of defensemen from everywhere. You have guys from Canada, USA, Slovakia, Norway, Switzerland, and Sweden. What a cool group. That's a lot of languages in on the Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah, I think I might speak none of those except for English. So maybe some of those defensemen are going to have to keep me educated on those.
Well, they all speak the language of hockey. That's all that matters. And these guys, they've been getting the job done so far.
Well, I got a question for you, Kobe. Who has been the best fan in the crowd so far? Thunderbug is the obvious answer, but I think our Manatee might be an underrated one here.
I think this might be the first time ever that a Manatee has watched a hockey game. And you know what? That is okay. Those guys, did you know, Wyatt, that Manatees, they can go in a short burst up to 15 miles an hour? Isn't that crazy? I did not know that.
That is crazy. Maybe a little bit faster than you on the ice, Kobe.
Well, now that I'm retired, maybe that's true.
Okay. Another live look at Hockey Paradise. You see the trolley going around there. I know the trolley takes us to Ybor City. You got any fun facts about Ybor City?
I sure do. Well, that trolley, it'll connect downtown Tampa with Ybor City, which is known for its Cuban and Spanish food, all the great things of Ybor City. But you know what? The one thing I love about Ybor the most, it has to be the wild chickens. And do you know that the wild chickens are actually protected by a law? So you can't go out there and you can't hurt the chickens. But you know what? When you're walking around Ybor, you never know what you might find. And you might just find a nice little egg or something like that.
The wild chickens, that is new information to me. Might have to go down to Ybor City and see some of those chickens.
Well, Tampa has so many cool places to go and adventure. Just like if you go to Amalie Arena, you're going to see some great hockey. Tampa Bay's got a little bit of something for everybody.
Tampa Bay absolutely does, and we're seeing that they got a little bit of something for everybody in our environment here, whether it's the water, the beach, the trolleys we just mentioned, or the city skylines we get to see. One of my favorite buildings in the skyline is actually the SunTrust building. Every game before and after the game, they always had the top of the building lit up with the lightning bolt, and I remember when I was 6 years old, walking into those games, I'd always see that building, and I knew it was time for some Lightning hockey.
Well, Tampa supports their Tampa Bay Lightning, that's for sure. You're going to see it all over the city. You see flags, Go Bolts, people with license plates, and you know what the best thing is when you drive around, you're going to see all kinds of street hockey nets in people's driveways. Hockey has been exploding in this place, and for good reason. They got a championship hockey club to cheer for, but listen, Wyatt, hockey, it's the best sport in the world, if you ask me.
And we get a nice look at the entire Hockey Paradise area. And I know it's Hockey Paradise, but it truly reflects all the Tampa Bay Lightning stuff that you're seeing around. It looks exactly like it does in Tampa Bay. And the Bolts, again, just laying on the pressure on the New York Islanders. This has been crazy so far. This is why it's so easy to cheer for the Lightning, because who else would they cheer for than one of the highest scoring teams in the league? Every time you go to a Lightning game, you are all but guaranteed to hear that buzzer go, hear the Lightning start, and hear that crowd roar thunder.
Well, I love going and hearing that Tesla coil. There's like live lightning inside the arena. What other arena is able to do that? I have no idea.
And we've tried to replicate that here in Hockey Paradise. When you see another goal, if the Lightning score another goal, which at this rate, it's almost all but guaranteed, you'll see the Lightning strike not only where Thunderbug is, but also in the net. That is just another one of the cool things we can do here in the Hockeyverse.
Oh, not just Lightning, they are bringing the Thunder. There's been some big hits here today. You can see those boards just rattling. You'll see the boards and they'll just go boom, bang, all kinds of different things.
Every time there's a big hit, they absolutely bring the Thunder. But speaking of bringing the Thunder, our Puck fans have been bringing the Thunder. Not only Thunderbug, not only the Manatee like I mentioned, but all of our Puck fans, and there they are right now, they're going crazy. Maybe a little bit too many Islander fans in there. We'll have to get that one figured out, Tampa Bay. Maybe go down to the Bay, cheer on the Bolts, keep the away fans out of here.
And Thunderbug, he's keeping them honest. He's getting everybody pumped up. And you know what? He's been all over the place. He's been busy so far today.
We see him taking a nice ride on the trolley. He has just been everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, he already has been on the roller coaster. He's been on a roller coaster. He's been in the air skydiving. He's been on a trolley. What else can you do in 18 minutes with Thunderbug?
I don't know, but you better put some sunscreen on because you know what, Wyatt? It's hot out here today.
I am certainly turning more and more red by every second. And again, just another great chance for the Bolts. There's always something new to talk about watching this game. It's just constant chance after chance after chance. Big save, maybe even a goal. The pressure's been there. I'm calling a goal coming up soon.
Well, why not? The Lightning have been red hot lately, and the one thing they've been doing is moving quickly through the neutral zone and putting a lot of pressure on those New York Islanders.
And again, it's that first line out here has been amazing all game, and there's another goal! Brayden Point, it looked like, smacked that one home. And it is 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Well, Brayden Point, he is on the point. And it's not surprising to see Brayden Point score a goal. That's his 37th goal of the season.
And with that 37th goal of the season, he now gets ahead of his line mate, Jake Gensel, for most goals on the team. And he's looking to try and maybe take the crown from Leon Draisaitl. as most goals in the league.
Well, I got to tell you, that was an unbelievable pass from Ryan McDonagh. Point puts himself in a spot to one-time that hole, and now the New York Islanders, they are in a big hole, sitting 3-0 right now. They're going to have to figure something out, and they're going to have to figure it out quickly.
You know, this game reminds me a lot of in the playoffs a couple years ago when the Bolts put up 4 goals, I believe it was, in the first period against the Islanders. I don't know if you got to see that game.
Well, Wyatt, you remember the games better than I do. I love it.
This one looks like it'll be one for the memories as well. Already 3 goals in the first period as we're winding down here. I don't know what's been better, though, our defense or our offense, as Johansson makes another big save.
Well, it's hard to argue with either one right now. They've been playing great. We've seen this action so far today. And you know what? Brayden Point, you know what he loves more than anything? Well, he's obviously a great hockey player. But from what all the guys say is Brayden Point is unbelievable at karaoke. This guy knows almost every song you can think about.
Is that right? Well, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, Garth Brooks, of course, Friends in Low Places. That's mine. How about you?
I'm not a big karaoke person, but I'll tell you what, if it gets to 5 goals for the Bolts, I got to hear some Garth Brooks out of you, Kobe.
Well, maybe they'll stop at 4 then. I'll get lucky.
But with that 3rd goal from the Lightning, I mentioned it in the pregame, 3 points for Kucherov already, and he is now 1st in the league in points.
Yeah, he is on fire, and he kind of makes this whole engine run. Offensively, he's the guy that sets things up. He was the guy in the corner that set up McDonagh at the top, that fed that nice play to Brayden Point.
It has been a great first period from the Lightning. I don't think you can ask for anything better. Great offensive pressure, great in the defensive zone, and this is what you get when you watch Lightning hockey as we round out this first period.
Well, they've had another gear today. They put the New York Islanders on a little bit of a railroad tracks here. They've been just running right over them 3 times this period.
And that'll be the end of the first period. Again, what a period for our crew in hockey paradise. The Bolts Pucks fans are going crazy. You see the roller coaster in the background. It is energetic, more energetic than Lightning even here in hockey paradise as the Bolts head into the first intermission with a 3-0 lead.
Well, a little bit of everything. I think the puck people, the manatees, the teddy bears, and the Dolphins are all appreciative of this effort that the Tampa Bay Lightning players are putting in right now.
Absolutely, and you might even see some more lightning strikes. Welcome back to Hockey Paradise, folks, presented by Advent Health. And man, Kobe, have we had a great game so far.
We sure have. This has been so much fun. I can't believe that we're sitting here in the Hockeyverse animated. Wyatt, look at us. Don't we look great?
This is awesome. I don't think I've ever thought of myself as an animated character, but this is definitely an experience, wouldn't you say, Kobe?
I think I look a lot better as an animated player than I do as a real player in real life.
Well, speaking of this game so far, what more could you ask for than a 3-point performance already from Nikita Kucherov? That's why he's one of the best in the league. And Jonas Johansson holding it down in net. Yeah,
a little bit of a surprise starter for this game, but Jonas has been really good. And you know what I like to see? I like to see this second period start off with another bit of bang for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I love this action that we've been seeing so far.
Obviously a great start to the first period for the Bolts. Just over 2 minutes in, and Kucherov got him started, and they just kept it rolling from there.
They sure did. They were rolling. And talk about momentum. It's a funny thing. When things are feeling good, it seems like everybody's feeling good. And that's what the Tampa Bay Lightning have going on right now. Can you believe it, Wyatt? We're looking at a team in the last, let's see here, 8 periods have scored 17 goals. That's craziness.
One of the best offensive teams in the league for a reason. And again, it all starts with that first line of Point, Guentzel, and Kucherov. If you're looking for a favorite Tampa Bay Lightning, you're new to the sport, choose one of those 3 and you cannot go wrong because they have been electric, all 3 of them, all year long.
They've had instant chemistry. And you talk about a guy like Jake Guentzel. Jake Guentzel, he signed in Tampa Bay for a 7-year contract. He came over from the Pittsburgh Penguins, where he played on a line with the great Sidney Crosby. You go from playing with Sidney Crosby to Nikita Kucherov. I'd say that's a pretty good trade if you have to trade.
Obviously, you're playing with one of the greatest of all time in the game, and then you go right over to playing, in my opinion, with the best in the league, Nikita Kucherov. He's had some great line mates, but he has proved that he can hold his own as well. Obviously, he's looking at another 40-goal season coming up here, and that is a lot of goals for a player to have.
Well, what are we going to see here in this second period? That's the big question. Are we going to see a big push by the New York Islanders, or the Tampa Bay Lightning going to keep the pressure on and really force the Islanders into a bigger hole than they already are in?
And again, just some physicality going on here. Nick Paul laying some big hits, but it's always a physical game when the Bolts and the Islanders match up. And, you know, I really want to see some more of the Gasparilla ship, honoring the Gasparilla tradition in Tampa Bay. It's a great tradition having the pirate ship in the background, just like they have the pirate ship in the Bay. It is awesome.
Well, as much as Tampa Bay is known for their championship hockey team, they're also known for their Gasparilla Festival and the pirate ship in the Bay. That's a great place where we're seeing today that you can watch this game from.
And it seems like we might have to make Sparky walk the plank to get the Bolts going, but it has been great for them so far that I don't think they're even going to have to.
Well, you never know. I just hope that they don't make us walk the plank, Wyatt.
Hopefully not. If the Bolts get a good win, I don't see any reason we'd have to, but it might be nice to cool down in the water after how hot it's been.
I'm not going to argue with you there.
It's been definitely hot out here, and as I mentioned in the pregame, it might even get to being a water polo game pretty soon.
Well, Wyatt, do you know what the ice resurfacer says when he meets you?
What's that?
He says, "Ice to meet you," of course.
Oh boy. Well, speaking of ice, no problem. NHL Street is where the real action happens. Parents, head to NHLstreet.com to find a league near you. Maybe your kid will be the next Nikita Kucherov. And if you're looking to inspire and lead the next wave of players, NHLstreet.com can help you start your own NHL Street League in your community. Who will be the next Tampa Bay Lightning of your own Street League? Hopefully you, with all the dominance that they've been putting on in the NHL this past half decade.
Well, that's for sure. They've been hot on the ice, and they've been hot off the ice as well.
I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things to do when I'm playing street hockey, I love to get into the action as a goaltender.
Oh, I can't believe that. You won't see me in the net, that's for sure.
Well, will we see you on water skis in a little bit, Kobe?
You know what? Let's take a look at Thunderbug. He's going to probably do it a lot better than I can, that's for sure. And you know what? I don't want to be on those water skis if a teddy bear's driving, that's for sure.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I don't know if well, who would you trust more, a teddy bear driving, or I just got my driver's license. Would you trust me driving you around?
You just got it? What, you're 16? I don't know if I'm going to trust you to drive the water skis either, or the jet ski as well. Maybe in a couple of years when you got a little bit more experience, then we'll go for a ride.
So I see how it is. It's a teddy bear over me driving you around. Okay.
Well, maybe we'll see.
Well, speaking about experience, the Bolts have plenty of experience managing big game leads. Obviously, their last game, they were up 8-0 versus Utah, and against Pittsburgh, they were up 6-1. They just do a great job managing these leads, and it's a wonder how they manage to do it every game. It's not very often you see the Bolts have a team come back on them when down this much.
Well, any team in the league, it's a tough hole to come back when you're 3-0. But these New York Islanders, they're gritty, they're tough. They're going to give it everything they got here to try to get back into this hockey game.
And you see, it looked like a little bit of a wave action was started from one of our Puck fans on the bench there. The Pucks are definitely getting into it, at least our Bolts fans. Up there, it's cold in New York. It's a little bit hot down here. They're still defrosting, or maybe it's just because their team doesn't give them enough action, but the Islanders fans have been real quiet here in Hockey Paradise.
Well, there's no doubt. A lot of pucks are normally frozen. Our pucks in Florida, well, they have to put sunscreen on, but they're sitting out there, they're enjoying the game, and they're having fun, and they're getting it going. They've been bringing the energy all day today.
There's a look at them right now. See, they're not showing the Islanders side too much because they're all sitting down. They should be used to the 3-0 games by now when playing the Bolts, though. Bolts have been red hot against the Islanders, especially in playoff series.
You got the burns today for the Islanders, that's for sure.
Well, maybe the burns will even out with all the burns we're getting from the hot sun out here.
Well, these guys, they've been in the action so far today, and one of the things that I love about this Hockeyverse is that everything we're seeing right now, Wyatt, it's exactly what's happening in the game. The NHL Magic, the NHL tracking, they're tracking player movements to see this game. This isn't just someone playing the game back home on their PS5. This is actual NHL hockey, the same movements the players are making.
That's right, Kobe. Even though Nikita Kucherov looks like he's playing in a video game, this is actually real life. That's right. He really is that dominant. He really does have the most points in the league now. It's all happening in real life in Tampa Bay right now as we speak. But I think this might be a little bit better of an area to play in, floating on the bay.
Well, I've been a huge fan of the Hockeyverse for a long time now, and I have to say, this world that's been created, these environments are unreal. I love this. This is so much fun.
This is awesome. I want to see a lot more of this coming up. A 90-mile-per-hour shot right there. I don't know if I want to be goalie after seeing that. I don't think I'd want to get in front of that one.
Well, we've been seeing lots of action on display today, the skill of these players. And Wyatt, look at that. You know what that is?
I believe that's a Stanley Cup, Kobe.
Well, do you know how old that thing is?
I do not.
It's 132 years old. Talk about the oldest professional sports trophy. I think that thing's awesome. And do you know that the New York Islanders, they've won 4 of them, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've won 3.
Wow. Well, the Islanders haven't won them in a while, though, so that must be an Islanders fan who is sipping out of the cup, because our Bolts fans know better than to touch it before the season's over.
Well, yeah, there's tons of superstitions with the Stanley Cup. It's bad luck to touch the cup before you win it, and players that have won the Stanley Cup are the only ones that are allowed to hoist it above their head. Cool facts, don't you think?
Kobe dropping knowledge over here, dropping knowledge and dropping dad jokes.
A little bit of everything for me today, Wyatt.
A little bit of everything from the Bolts today as well. They're just really putting it to the Islanders right now. We saw Anthony Duclair went down there. It's a former Bolt right there. He did great for the Bolts last year. So if anybody was wondering about that, he was on the team last year if you got to catch a few games.
We are going to see our first penalty of the game. And like you mentioned, we are going to see a tripping call right here. And Anthony Duclair, he got tripped up by Darren Radish. So he's going to take a quick trip to our penalty island. He's going to have to sit down in the loungers for 2 minutes.
Darren Radish is going to get what I would like to say a vacation on those lounge chairs right there. Maybe get him some puck punch over there. And we're going to have a slide insurance penalty kill now from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, it's going to be fun. The penalty kill for the Lightning this year has been very good, Wyatt. And one of those reasons is guys like Glenn Denning. He is a face-off specialist, and when you win that face-off on the penalty kill, it gives your team a chance to get the puck all the way down the ice and kill a little bit of time.
And speaking of having a great penalty kill, not on the ice right now, but we should see them in a little bit. The dynamic duo, Hagel and Cirelli, usually on the penalty kill together. They have been phenomenal all year. Heck, half the time I think the Bolts are on the power play when they're killing on the ice together.
Those guys are pretty good for sure. There's no doubt about it. One guy in the Islanders you're going to have to take a look out for is their leading scorer, Bo Horvat. He is going to be running the half wall for them today.
Bo Horvat is leading the New York Islanders in points for a reason. He's been great ever since joining them in Long Island last year. And the Bolts penalty kill has been one of the best in the league since 2025 started, and that is why the Bolts have been so dominant in that stretch as well.
Well, if you're going to have a good penalty kill, your best penalty killer has to be your goaltender. And JJ right there, he makes a great save as Darren Radish looks on from penalty island, wondering, when are they going to let me out of here?
Well, he does look on from penalty island, but maybe he should be taking a nap in those lounge chairs right now while he has a chance. Islanders won't be so fortunate, though. They'll have to sit on the wooden bench if they take a penalty.
One question I have is, how are we going to get from penalty island back onto our floating ice rink? Is he going to have to take a jet ski or something?
Thunderbug might have to chauffeur him over there. I don't think Darren Radish would like to swim during a game very much in all that gear.
I don't know any hockey players that swim and play hockey at the same time. Usually that's a bad sign.
Well, we might be able to see a little bit of hockey players swimming in this action by the time we're at the third period.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at this highlight, this nice save from Johansson. He's been really good. He holds his ground. That was a good tip by Anders Lee in front of the net, but Johansson was up to the challenge to cover that puck.
Already 16 saves for Johansson. He's been doing a great job filling in for Vasi. Some big shoes to fill for Johansson, but he's filling them pretty well right now. He's been solid for the Lightning, and he's keeping them in it.
Well, another one of those penalty killers on the Tampa Bay Lightning that has been really good is Erik Cernak. And the thing about Erik Cernak is, on the ice, he is a beast. Off the ice, do you know what he's into? Motorsports. He loves F1. Erik Cernak said that if he wasn't a hockey player, he might be racing cars.
F1 Sports just started, so if you see a decline in production from Cernak, it might be those 3 a.m. races he might be watching.
Well, and don't forget to check out the St. Pete Grand Prix. That's another thing in Tampa that you have to go to. It's a lot of fun.
So what do you think would be faster, Braden Point going on a 2-on-1 with Kucherov, or those cars racing around in the Grand Prix?
Well, I think today Braden Point is the fastest thing we've seen all day.
He has been great for the Lightning, as he always is, and the Bolts got about 20 seconds left on this PK to kill it off.
Well, so far it's been a great penalty kill, and you can take a look again to see what Johansson is seeing in the crease. It's very cool to see the way the goalies track the puck as it moves from the corner to the top and all over in the scoring chances that we might see.
Johansson's got to focus up, though. It looked like he was getting distracted by Thunder Alley there. I know our fans can be pretty loud under those that big lightning bolt statue, but he's got to watch the puck in front of him.
I got to tell you, if I was playing this game today, it'd be easy to get distracted. There's so many things going on. I don't even know where to start.
The environment in this game has been beyond incredible. I mean, you might if you just pay attention to the outside of the arena, you'll see Thunderbug going around on the jet ski. You'll see pucks doing backflips. You'll see a manatee in the crowd. You'll see a roller coaster going on. You even see the Skyway Bridge in the background there.
Yeah, you sure will. I don't know if they're going to need those lights today. It seems like it's pretty sunny. And look at that. We've got the manatee. He's enjoying the show today.
Well, speaking of manatees, they're the closest related to elephants. So some fun facts there for you.
I love it.
And fans, we welcome you back to Hockey Paradise, presented by Advent Health. Get a nice view of the Advent Health blimp in the air there. We're approaching midway point of the game, and it has been great for the Bolts so far. Already 3 on the board.
Yeah, and 3 different scorers in this game so far. Nikita Kucherov kicked off the action to get the Bolts in the game, and then Nick Perbix, he netted the second goal of the game, and then Braden Point, he got into the action as well.
All 3 of them having great goals for the Bolts, and right now, the 3 only goals so far. A little bit of a slowdown since that third Braden Point goal, as the Bolts are just hanging on to this 3-goal lead.
Well, there's still been plenty to cheer about for this game so far. And you can take a look at what's happening here. And Wyatt, I got to tell you, this is a highlight for me. No refs today, just parachutes dropping the puck into our action.
Not sure how the fans are going to complain about refs this time. They're going to be yelling at parachutes on the ice.
Yeah, I guess so. But they've been doing a good job. And these players have been doing a good job of keeping this action high energy today.
Again, it is always a great game between these Bolts and these Islanders. Honestly, I'm starting to see a little rivalry formed after those Eastern Conference Final Series.
Yeah, for sure. These guys, they know each other well. This game is far from over, if you ask me.
And speaking of rivalries, the Bolts right now, 3rd in their division. But with a win today, they can bring themselves all the way to first place. And guess who they're behind? None other than their 2 biggest rivals, the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So a chance to get themselves in first place and make their rivals upset with a 2-point win here.
Well, let's take a look at the standings really quick, Wyatt, because home ice is what these teams are fighting for. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've been fantastic at home this year, and they want to make sure when they get into the playoffs, they have home ice advantage. But you can see right there, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers are 1 and 2 points ahead of them. This game today would put them in a tie at the top of the division with the Florida Panthers.
Absolutely, and you always want the best position you can to get home ice advantage and play against maybe some of those weaker opponents in early rounds. I know you've experienced it. How important is home ice advantage for the players in the playoffs?
Well, it's do or die come playoff time, and these guys, they're going to make sure they play hard every game here because they want to be in a good position to first have their game feeling good as they go into playoffs, and two, they love playing in front of their home fans. So if you got a chance to get home ice in the playoffs, they're going to try to take it.
Now, other than this game in Hockey Paradise here, which has obviously been very loud from our Puck fans, what has to be the loudest crowd moment that you experienced as a player?
Oh, too many to answer, but you know what? It seems like when those fans in Amalie Arena are going, it almost feels like there's a train running underneath the ice. That's how you can feel it. It almost feels like it's rumbling. But Wyatt, one player I want to talk about here is I want to talk about Tampa Bay Lightning rookie Gage Gonzalez. He's come up. He's been really good. Coach Cooper loves what he does out there. And the best thing about Gonzalez, I think he's got one of the best nicknames in hockey, Gonzo. Gage Gonzo.
I like that nickname. And speaking of younger players for the Bolts, one of my favorite right now has been Lilleberg on the back end for the Lightning. More of a physical defenseman. As a matter of fact, he reminds me a lot of this guy I know, Braden Coburn, who played for the Lightning.
Well, Lilleberg, he has been fantastic. He's one of the younger guys on the Lightning defensemen, but do you know what? He's only one of 8 Norwegian players to ever play in the NHL, and he's making a name for himself out there with his smooth skating and physical style.
Only 8 players from Norway. Norway, we got to get those numbers up. Come Four Nations was obviously big for the NHL, so some of the European countries are going to have to get some more players in the NHL coming up.
Wasn't that fun? It was a great time. I know those guys really enjoyed it as well.
I don't know what was louder, though, the Four Nations games or this right here. Obviously, I think Thunderbug and the Manatee are really leading the charge here as they're rallying the troops here for the Bolts to maintain this 3-goal lead.
Not hard to keep the energy up today. You can see these guys, they've been putting in the effort, just a great team effort, but I love that these Tampa Bay Lightning, the way they pass, when you pass like that, they're such an unselfish hockey club. You can tell they really play a team game.
They do play a great team game, and maybe that's why our hockey on the beach crew, they're passing it around a lot, trying to replicate their best Tampa Bay Lightning impression.
Well, I can't disagree with that for sure. And you know what? I'm looking at the beach right now, and it looks like somebody's flying a kite too. So not only are fans out there having a nice time sitting on the beach, they're flying kites as well.
They're flying kites. They're having a blast out here. I think I've said this before, but they're really putting the paradise in Hockey Paradise. No better environment than what they have right now. Some beautiful buildings around. All the pucks on the beach, getting a tan. Really easy to get a tan in this sun right now. Obviously with the players with the sunglasses. But my favorite thing is if you just look at the top of your screen for the next 30 seconds, there he is again. You'll see Thunderbug zooming around on that jet ski. He's really got a lot of energy right now as he's flying around the ring.
He sure does. Thunderbug, he's so much fun. And one of the guys that's really been a huge addition for the Tampa Bay Lightning this year is that guy right there, Nikita Kucherov. But J.J. Moser on defense, he's a player they traded for in the offseason. And you know what? He's been good. He's been on Victor Hedman's side. Let's take a look at today's attendance today. What jumps out at you, Wyatt?
Well, 752 puck people. That's why it's been so loud. 3 manatees. I thought we only had 1. No wonder that manatees have been so loud. 1 dolphin, 6 buddy bears, and 1 thunderbug. You could have put 10 Thunderbug on here and I'd believe you the way he's been all over the place. But 752 puck people makes a lot of sense for how loud it's been.
And 2 announcers enjoying the game. I'll tell you, I'll put ourselves right in there. We've been fans of this game so far.
There we go. Absolutely. I agree with you, Kobe.
Well, the Islanders here, we've seen a little bit of a push from them after going down in the hole. They realize they're going to have to try to force the Tampa Bay Lightning into some sort of mistakes in this second period as we've passed the halfway point in this period.
The Bolts, unfortunately, it does look like they took their foot off the gas here in the second period. The Islanders have been controlling play, but Point is going to try and break it out and maybe try and get things going.
Well, he sure is. And one of those players we talked about early in the game, Ryan McDonough, we said he has 1,000 games under his belt so far. He's just been a rock back there. And you know what the rumor is when he's played a good game, he likes to go home and have a warm chocolate chip cookie. Who doesn't like warm chocolate chip cookies? Sign me up for one of those.
Only stories you hear from Braden Coburn, but maybe we put some icing on those cookies with how many icings we've had in this game.
Of course we're going to put icing on those cookies. Why would we not when we're in the Hockeyverse? Anything is possible.
Anything is possible for sure as we get a look at the YMCA sandcastle back there. I'm not sure I'd trust being anywhere near that thing in real life. About a 4 or 5 story tall sandcastle. I don't know about the structural integrity of that one.
Well, that is one of my favorite things about going to the beach, Wyatt, is building sandcastles. But mine have never looked as good as that, or they've been as big.
Speaking of looking good, the Bolts are looking good right now, but the Islanders are pushing back. Stick around to see if there's maybe a comeback. Well, here in Hockey Paradise, fans, we have a pirate ship in the bay, and some of our younger fans might be wondering why it's here. And no, it is not to steal Nikita Kucherov from the Tampa Bay Lightning as much as they'd like to do that. It is actually to honor Gasparilla, which is a great tradition here in Tampa Bay, where everybody dresses up as a pirate. And Kobe, I know you got some fun stories about Gasparilla.
Well, every time I try to dress up as a pirate, I end up looking like Captain Hook for some reason. I'd like to try to look like Captain Jack Sparrow if I could, but Gasparilla, what a huge party it is. It's one of the biggest parades in North America and annually attracts over 400,000 people. That's just wild, and that's a lot of people.
400,000 people. Honestly, it sounds like that inside of Amalie Arena when it's Gasparilla sometimes, though.
Well, these guys today, they've been plundering the New York Islanders net with goals. It's been an onslaught we've seen so far in this game. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they have been red hot in this game. You know, one of the players that we have to keep an eye out for is Anthony Cirelli. Anthony Cirelli, he's been just fantastic this season. And the one player that is one of his biggest fans is his dog, Max. And Anthony Cirelli sent his dog Max out to get training, and you know what Brandon Hagel said the first thing Max did when he got home? Was he tried to bite him, so probably the training didn't work.
Maybe that's why Anthony Cirelli is so feisty on the ice. He's getting the same training his dog is getting, trying to bite people.
Well, you can never have to worry about Anthony Cirelli. He gives 110% all the time.
Anthony Cirelli always working hard. He is top 6 on the Bolts in points, and that's a hard thing to do when you got guys like Kucherov out there hogging all the points with Point and Gensel on the same line, as Kucherov had control of the puck there for a second.
Yeah, and those guys, they've been good. Cirelli, he's part of those 2 Stanley Cups the Tampa Bay Lightning won, and he's a big reason why.
Every single player on that team had a huge impact, including somebody who just came back. I know you touched on him a little bit earlier, but Yanni Gourde coming over in the trade deadline for our younger fans. We swapped some of our potential first-round draft picks to get him back from the Seattle Kraken, and he is one of the best, if not the best, third liner in the league. Great on the PK, and it is great to have Yanni Gourde back.
And he's been feeling very comfortable. And one of the reasons he's been very comfortable is he came in, they gave him the same locker stall. He's knows a lot of the same guys, and they gave him the same number too.
The same number, that's got to be something overlooked, honestly, getting that same familiarity when you go to a new team, but this time it wasn't so new for him.
Well, some guys are extremely superstitious about what net number they wear. I don't know if Yanni's like that, but I'm sure he feels very comfortable in number 37.
Were you like that, Kobe?
Well, I was number 5 in Philadelphia and 55 with Tampa, so I'll let you figure that one out.
So, I mean, is it just as long as there's a 5 in there?
It
is
might
that your
be.
Superstition?
I'm not. My superstition is I can't tell anybody what my superstition is.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, it's been a great second period so far. We're about 3/4 of the way through it, and we're looking some. All our fans are getting excited with Puck Punch right now, getting ready to end this second period. And we're back in Hockey Paradise, getting a good view of our Busch Gardens roller coaster there. And I'll tell you, I just went to Busch Gardens a couple weeks ago, got my friend on SheiKra for the first time, and he was definitely screaming up there when you were hanging at the top. But what's your favorite roller coaster story, Kobe?
Well, I have to admit, Wyatt, I get a little queasy. I'm just a small bit scared of heights, but the roller coasters, it's one of those things you just got to get on and enjoy the ride.
I completely agree with you, but I did not know you were afraid of heights. Have you conquered Gwazi yet?
I have. My kids make me go on those rides, but I have a good time. But I am screaming the whole time I'm on the ride. I have to say that.
That's always a good experience. On that uphill, it's sometimes the scariest part of a ride, just as you slowly climb up higher and higher.
You sound like a pro. Well, we're taking a look at Nick Perbix, and one of the things that I found interesting about Nick Perbix is he grew up playing minor hockey in Minnesota, and he never even played a high level. He actually played Bantam B hockey, but that didn't slow Nick down. He kept working. He became a D1 player at St. Cloud University, and one of the funny things about Nick is that he got to represent Team USA in the Olympics in 2022 when the NHL did not send NHL players to the Olympics, and he still says that's one of his favorite hockey memories to this point.
Always great to hear stories like that, reminding our younger audience to never give up, keep chasing those dreams, just like Perbix did, and now he's playing in the NHL for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, and it's maybe a good excuse to go to your professor and say, hey, I couldn't do my homework. I was trying to win a gold medal at the Olympics.
I feel like that one might just slide. I'm not sure, though. I haven't gotten to university yet, so I'll have to update you if I ever get that opportunity.
You're going to have a great time, I'll tell you that right now.
The Islanders really have just been laying on the pressure on the Bolts this entire second period. Is the ice tilted? Is the water tilting the ice to one side? Is that why we're seeing this?
Well, it might very well be. Maybe those manatees are putting some pressure on our inflatable rink, and it's kind of like the New York Islanders are trying to skate uphill right now.
It seems like that it's just flipped from all Tampa Bay Lightning to all New York Islanders. And speaking of, I don't know, I might see a little bit of tilt on the right side there. I don't know about you, Kobe.
Well, these guys have been in for a treat, and I have to tell you right now, I don't know how they're doing it. Thunderbug's been distracting me all game, cruising around that jet ski, and he's been getting everybody fired up.
I don't know how he still has energy after that skydive, after going on the roller coaster. He jet skied in from the bay to this game, and I don't think he's stopped going around those stands since it started.
Well, there's nothing better than this view right here. You get a chance to take a look and see how the play is developing. I always loved watching hockey games from up high. You can really see how the play develops, what the players are able to see. The closer you get to the ice, I feel like the more you appreciate the speed of the game, but this is just a fantastic view in my opinion.
Not only do you get to see how play develops and the speed of the game, but you also get to see a little bit of our environment here in Hockey Paradise. You see the trolleys going by, you see the bay all right there leading up to the beach, and you see all the pucks getting a tan on, sipping on some puck punch, enjoying the time.
You sure do. And you got to see JJ make an absolute 5-bell save right there. He's been solid. And this puck in the paragliding, he's been enjoying the view. I don't know if he's stuck up there or if he's just getting a free view of this game today.
I don't think I've had him go, I don't think I've seen him go down since then, so we might need to check on him after this game, but he's smiling, he looks happy, so he's getting a good view of the game from up high.
Everybody's enjoying this game, that's for sure.
Now, you said that Johansson made a 5-bell save. I must be a casual, because you got to enlighten me on what that means.
Oh, that is when the goalie makes a save and you're just shaking your head as how did he save that? That's what we call that. And Johansson had a couple so far in this game, but that might have been the best in the game so far.
I think we should rename that to a Vasilevsky. Just the way that he makes all those, how did you do that saves? I mean, he even saved a goal from behind his back one time, threw the glove behind him and nabbed it. I believe it was Anze Kopitar.
Well, goaltending has not been a problem for the Tampa Bay Lightning this season. And let's take a look at these right here. We've seen Manatees get in the action, and there's Dolphins. And I did not know that about Dolphins. Wyatt, I had no idea. But one of my favorite things to do in the morning is walk on Bayshore and watch the Dolphins in the bay.
Somebody must have told the Dolphin that they better sleep with one eye open, and they took it very seriously with that one. They do only sleep with half of their brain asleep at a time. Each side only getting about 4 hours of sleep. I don't know how that's even possible. But our one Dolphin in the bay, he seems to be pretty active. He's still out there, so he must be getting plenty of sleep.
He just wants to be part of Bolts Nation more than anybody else.
I don't think he's taking a break jumping. We might need to check on him. I don't know where he's getting all that energy from. He just keeps on jumping.
He might be hungry. He might want to try to get into the action. Maybe he's looking for maybe some of this world famous, maybe like a Cuban sandwich that Tampa Bay is known for that you can find in Ybor City.
Ybor City does have some great Cuban sandwiches. If you ever make your way over there, not only are you going to see the chickens that we get a nice view of right there, you get some nice Cuban sandwiches over in Ybor.
You can't beat them. I'm a big sandwich guy. That's where I'm going for my lunch breaks. But Ybor City, it's a great place to have some fun.
Ybor City is always a great place to go. If you're not in Tampa, it's got to be in Ybor. And a little fun fact, may or may not be true, I think it might be the most unusual way to spell a city I've ever seen.
Okay, I love it. Well, Anders Lee, he's the captain of the New York Islanders, and he's a big guy, and he's been leading these guys. Anders Lee's played his entire career with the New York Islanders, and he's a big reason why they've had recent success, and he's going to be trying to get these guys back into the action and try to spark something for his club.
Always love to see those loyal guys like your Victor Hedman, Anders Lee, Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, spending their entire career with one team. It really shows their loyalty and leadership on each team.
Well, let's take a quick look and see what JJ is looking at right here. And he's got an unbelievable chance to look inside the mask and see how things are developing. I just love this because it gives you a sense of what the players see when the puck is coming up and down the ice. Really, really cool that we can see this in the Hockeyverse.
And when do you ever get this view? Right inside of J.J. Johansson's helmet right there, seeing exactly what he's seeing. Sometimes I always wonder, how do the Lightning goalies do it? Always keeping a track on the puck. Never been a problem in net for the Bolts, and it's just great to see how they do it right there.
Well, he's been good. He's got that goose egg right now. You know that word we don't want to say. We do not want to say. We do not want to give JJ any bad luck, but he has been really good so far. Hopefully he can continue that as we finish up this second period.
Already has one of those certain games so far this season, hoping to maybe make it two. But if he doesn't, I'm blaming you, Kobe, for jinxing them.
Oh, you can't do that. I don't want to be blamed for anything bad that happens.
About a minute left in the second period here. No goals in the second period, but not a lack of action for sure.
Well, the one thing that I like that the New York Islanders are doing, they're sticking with their game plan. They haven't tried to get out of their structure, but they haven't been able to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning defense, which has been having a great season. They are one of the better defensive teams in the league to go along with their offensive firepower.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, often overlooked. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the league compared to one of the lowest scoring teams in the league with the New York Islanders. Their defense is almost overlooked every time. I mean, they have not only one of the best offenses, but one of the best defenses. Johansson coming off almost all the way. I believe we might have a delayed penalty coming up here on the Islanders. I was a little bit confused when I saw Johansson playing the puck at the blue line. Not something you see very often.
Yeah, he was kind of getting into the action there. But yes, we are going to see a Tampa Bay power play here.
Now Point gets a shot and he scores! There will not be a power play because Pointer sends it home to make it 4-0 Tampa Bay.
Well, with the extra attacker, you can see the Tampa Bay Lightning using the whole zone and using that extra player to their advantage. And Braden Point gets his second of the game. And surprise, surprise, who's also on the score sheet? Nikita Kucherov with that fantastic pass to Braden Point.
Now it is official. He has the most points in the NHL at the moment. And another great goal for Pointer. That makes 38 for him. So he's well on his way to another 40-goal season. And again, blue glasses on the puck panel, giving that a 9. I really got to have a talk with him.
Well, we have 16 seconds left. That is a killer. You never want to let that happen. And teams don't want to let momentum get away from them at the end of periods, and that's what the New York Islanders just did.
And with that fourth goal, with the Wendy's Sticks for Stacks, All you have to do now is visit a participating Tampa area Wendy's location within 24 hours after the game, and you will now get a free double stack with any purchase. Now, there has been 4 Tampa Bay Lightning goals. So thank Kucherov and thank Pointer for that one.
Well, huge lead by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm excited to see what this third period holds.
Up 4-0. It's not over yet. We've seen bigger comebacks, but hopefully they can hang on. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hockey Paradise, presented by Advent Health. And it is just another day in paradise here for the Lightning, destroying opponents like they have been for these past 3 games. It is fun in the sun out here, getting a view on our ice resurfacer, getting ready to get all the puddles off the ice to get ready for some third period action, Kobe.
Well, talk about some smoking hot action. Wyatt, what we've seen so far is no short of a little bit of domination, and the Tampa Bay Lightning have now scored 18 goals in 8 periods of play. That's ridiculous.
That is just crazy, and we are standing on top of the sandcastle. Not sure how comfortable I feel here, especially with the roller coaster whizzing by my head. Very dangerous area here, but I'm trusting you, Kobe, up here with me.
That's a bad idea to try to trust me up here, Wyatt. I think I might be the most scared guy today in the Hockeyverse, standing up here on this sandcastle.
Well, let's take a view at Jonas Johansson, who has been incredible for the Bolts so far. You better not have jinxed him, but he does have something going for him right now. I'm not going to say what it is, but we'll talk about it at the end of the game if he keeps this up.
Well, there's no better feeling as a goalie going into the third period with a 4-goal cushion for your team.
Absolutely, Kobe. The 4-goal cushion is a good one to have, and it's also a bad one to have, though, in case the Islanders do stage a comeback here. Might be a little bit embarrassing for the Bolts, but I trust our boys. I trust John Cooper has them ready, and they're going to finish out this third period strong.
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on here. The Lightning has striked for the Bolts 4 times in this game so far. They're going to look to add to that lead. And you know what, Wyatt? The way things have been going so far, don't expect Nikita Kucherov. He's got 4 points already in this game. I don't think he's done yet. 4
points already in this game. It's just been a great game for him, absolutely.
All right, you know who else is bringing the Thunder, Wyatt? It's Culvers. They've been bringing the Thunder, and they're Kurds in the third. Here's the deal. For our Bolts fan parents, if the Lightning score in the third period, you and your family score 3 Wisconsin cheese curds from Culver's. I love those. With your online purchase, this offer is valid tomorrow. So here's to the Lightning strikes as many times as we can see in the third period.
Nothing better than the Culver's cheese curds. Always a great snack to have, no matter the situation, especially after a Bolts W. Got you feeling good. You'll feel even better after eating that Wisconsin cheddar.
I knew you were going to be a big fan of those. I could tell right away. As I was saying that, your eyes were lighting up saying, give this guy some curds. Let the Bolts score in the third.
Wisconsin cheese curds will be brought to you if we can see the Lightning strike not once, not twice, but 5 times in this game. Hopefully they can pull it off here.
Well, speaking of lightning strikes, Wyatt, did you know Tampa Bay records more lightning strikes than anywhere else in the world? I guess we know why they named the team the Lightning.
I guess they did name the team for that. I've always wondered maybe, Buccaneers, Gasparilla, you have the Rays, all the sunshine coming in Tampa Bay. We're experiencing that now. But when you think of Tampa, you don't really think of Lightning that much until this hockey team got started, and I'm glad I know that now.
I got all the facts for you, man. Don't worry about that.
All the facts and all the dad jokes over here. I'm sorry for all our viewers. You probably will be experiencing a few more of those coming up.
Well, I got another one for you, Wyatt. Do you want to hear it?
I should never have brought it up.
Oh, yeah, you did. So, how do ice players get paid?
How do they get paid?
They get paid with a massive check. How about that one?
Brandon Coburn over here flexing his massive checks on me.
Well, I got another one for you later, but I'll save it as we get closer to the end of this third period.
All right, and one thing I did want to point out, a couple minutes ago when you were reading about the Wisconsin cheese curds, got a nice view at a cruise ship there. And I know cruises are a big part of the Tampa Bay area. How many cruises have you been on, Kobe?
I got to tell you, I've been on one, and I had a great time when I went.
Cruises are always fun. I don't know if I get more sunburnt on a cruise or out on this pond hockey that they're playing right now. And there's another view, a live puck cam view. Never get this anywhere else. We got eyes in the puck as it flies across the rink. This is something that we need to start seeing on traditional broadcasts.
Well, when you see that, Wyatt, what jumps out to you right away?
Just how big all the players look. I think I'd be pretty scared to be a puck out there. I don't know. I am pretty short when I'm on the ice, but I don't think I'm down at everybody's skates quite there.
Well, it's crazy to me to see how fast this puck moves. Unbelievable. Can you imagine? Like, that puck sometimes is going over 100 miles an hour.
I could not imagine, and that might be why I was never a goalie. Obviously, my dad wouldn't let me, but maybe it was because of those 100-mile-per-hour shots going right at me. And there's another look at the cruise ship. I gotta say, cruises have always been one of my favorite things to do. I think I've been on about 3 in my lifetime. Always been a great time, and my favorite part gotta be the free buffet.
Well, food, you can never go wrong with the buffet. All you can eat. Sign me up, Wyatt.
Unfortunately, no Wisconsin cheese curds on the all-you-can-eat buffets, though. Maybe we gotta work something out with Culver's to get those on there.
Well, I think our puck fans are enjoying the game from the cruise ship as well. There's so many great places, so many unbelievable environments to take this game in today, to watch the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have been absolutely feeling it in this game. Teams in the NHL have to be shaking in their skates, thinking that the Tampa Bay Lightning are heating up right before the playoff times.
It has been amazing for the Tampa Bay Lightning these past couple of games. Just absolutely incredible. They are red hot right now. And there's another look at that Brayden Point goal. A beautiful fake slap shot pass from, I'm pretty sure that was Kucherov right there, making the great play over to Brayden Point, and all he had to do was tap it home.
No one has been hotter than Brayden Point. And now he has over 300 goals in his career. That's amazing, because I feel like he just got to Tampa. He seems like it's been a while since he scored, but you know what? Brayden Point, he's been on fire, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've been on fire.
That first line we were talking about all game, Kensel, Point, and Kucherov combining for, I believe that was, well, I know for a fact it's over 100 goals on the year so far. The line ahead of them, though, the Winnipeg Jets, who are doing great as well right now. Both might be a little hotter than them, but the Winnipeg Jets, second in the league. Their line of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Gabe Vilardi have combined for 48 goals together, so they've just been incredible as well. But right behind the Bolts, Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, 40 goals together. I mean, they've just been great.
Well, one of the things about hockey is you have to have good chemistry. And the thing that those guys have is the way they move the puck, the way they see each other. I think they must hang out on a line together, but they must hang out off the ice too, because their chemistry is undeniable.
They've got to hang out off the ice. They got to be hanging out all the time. It's just so incredible. Gensel filling in with Steven Stamkos, huge shoes to fill for him, and he's done a significant job at it. A first-year player who has slotted in just as nicely as he has. They're hard to come by, and Engvall gets a little bit of a breakaway there, and Johansson says no. A great save by Johansson. He has been amazing all game.
He sure has. He's been up to the challenge, and with that 6'6" body, he takes up a lot of net. There just isn't much to see in that spot in the net for him.
Not at all. He's just one of the greatest backup goalies in the league right now, in my opinion. He's just been phenomenal filling in for Bassey.
Well, hey parents, if your family is new to the game, sign up for Learn to Play and experience hockey like never before. With full ice time and equipment included, it's the perfect way to start your youth hockey journey. Visit learntoplay.com, learntoplaynhl.com to learn more and register today.
Well, speaking of learning to play, I do remember when I was really little, I started playing hockey at 4 years old. Whenever I was learning to play, I always thought, why can't there be 2 blades on my skate so I stop falling down when I try and turn on here?
Well, I've seen you play, Wyatt. You're a pretty good little player. And you know what? That is exactly what these kids are going to learn. Learn to Play. It's a great program to get involved in the game at a young age.
Having Tampa being one of the best teams in the league, the Lightning lead the league in scoring 87 goals since February 1st. You can see on that graphic right there. It's easy to have a good learn to play program when all the kids can learn from the best Bolts alumni coming out sometimes, and they can get to watch these great players on the ice.
Well, they've been red hot. They've been led by guys like Jake Gensel, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Anthony Cirelli, Brandon Hagel. They've been spreading the scoring all around so far this season. And even Victor Hedman, he's gotten into the action. He's got 12 goals on the year.
Victor Hedman getting onto the scoring sheet. He's usually on there with a lot of assists. Getting quite a bit of goals, though. And speaking of leading with a lot of assists, Ryan McDonough, always a great guy, passing the puck around. But no one does it better than Nikita Kucherov. He's got the flashy goals. He's up there in the amount of goals he has. But he is right there at the top of the league in assists.
Yeah, he sure is. And he's one of the leaders on this Tampa Bay Hockey Club. And we're going to see the New York Islanders on the power play.
The Tampa Bay Lightning got a slide insurance penalty kill right here. And they've had a good penalty kill so far in this game. I believe, if I'm not wrong, they've only had one time where they had to kill it off. They worked it out that time, and hopefully they can work it out again and keep up with the 4-goal lead.
Well, it's going to be a big challenge here because this is an opportunity for the Islanders to try to claw back into this game. They have to try to start at 1. But the great structure of the Tampa Bay penalty kill, they're keeping the Islanders to the outside.
14 minutes left in the game. Might seem a little bit early, but we could be seeing desperation time for the Islanders down 4. And again, on this penalty, we get a live view inside of Jonas Johansson's face cam. And this is just amazing seeing how everything plays out in front of him.
It sure is. And this is a great view. You get a view from what the goalie sees. And oh no, the Islanders have finally struck.
This is your fault, Kobe. You jinxed them, bringing up shutouts in the second period. Johansson lets one by, and the Islanders cut the lead to 3. Thunderbug is distraught about that one, but not as much as me. Get the puck panel up here. Show me what they're rating on there pretty soon. I'm hoping for at least a 0. That's got to be a 0 on the puck panel.
Well, you have to give the Islanders credit. Anders Lee, he works the half wall, gives it to Polak on the top, and he's got a heavy shot. And with screens in front, it looks like there was a tip in front. Tough goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Our puck panel is not a fan of that, but that's okay. The Lightning have still been playing great in this game.
Red Glasses is my favorite on the puck panel, giving that one a 0, just like I said.
Tough judge indeed.
Tough judge. I'm pretty sure he's the one who gave the Bolts a 10, though, so he's most aligned with my views on these goals. But just a rocket of a shot from Polak. Him and Pelech, one of the best defensive duos in the league. That is not a shot I'd want to get in front of.
Well, he has a bomb. I have to tell you that right now. Same like Victor Hedman. I love seeing some of these stats we've seen so far in this game. You can tell how fast these players shoot the puck. You'll see some shots in the high 90s, even 100s, and see some of their wrist shots going up into the 70s. For me, that is unbelievable to see.
Kobe, you know if you ever got to 100 miles per hour on one of your shots in a game?
I'm not going to tell. I don't know. These guys are a little younger. The technology in the games, the fact that we could be animating a game at the same time that it's going on, this is just really cool what the NHL has been able to do so far.
That is true. They didn't way back when you were playing, right? They didn't track the puck speeds, did they?
Way back. It's only about 4 or 5 years ago now. Don't make me feel older than I am.
Well, the Bolts have just been putting on the work in the first period. They ended the second period strong with that goal, but it has been all New York because of that power play. After that goal, you can really feel the intensity starting to ramp up on the Bolts here.
Well, this is time for the Islanders to make a push. If they're going to make a push, to try to build up a little bit of momentum from that goal. And
again, you just saw a wrist shot from about center ice reach 76 miles per hour. That just shows you how strong some of these shots are.
Well, one of the things that you're going to see the Islanders do is they're going to be trying to get this puck deep, and they're going to try to use their physical play to force that. Oh, no, we saw it again. You could see that heavy forecheck by the Islanders paying off, and it leads to a goal.
84-mile-per-hour snapshot. Not much Johansson can do there. The Bolts are really going to have to ramp it up. Thunderbug is mad about that one. So am I. We were up 4-0 not just about 2 minutes ago. Without calculating all the numbers, we were up 2 minutes ago, 4-0. It's a 2-goal game now, and it is not over. The Islanders are right back in this thing.
Well, Gatcomb, he ends up taking this puck on the wall, and he's able to come right into that right face-off dot, and he absolutely fires a laser over Johansson's glove hand side, and those fans back in New York Islanders territory sitting on their iceberg, they're definitely enjoying that.
I don't know if they can even celebrate because they might be frozen shut after all of that one. And no matter what happens in this game, at least we have this beautiful sunny weather down here in Tampa Bay.
Well, one thing they are not going to have to worry about that we're going to have to worry about is we should probably reapply sunscreen in this commercial break if we can. What do you think?
Absolutely, we need to. Stick around because the Islanders are making a push. 2-goal game. Back here in Hockey Paradise. It's not a very much of a paradise right now for the Bolts, though, as the Islanders are staging a comeback. They are pushing hard on this Tampa Bay Lightning defense. And we get a view at the Breeze airplane in the sky. High up in the sky. Maybe you can bring our hopes higher up here, Kobe.
Well, maybe it's coming from the MacDill Air Force Base. That's not too far from Tampa and the MacDill Air Force Base. One of the coolest things about that, they coordinate some of the country's most special operations where you'll see guys like the Navy SEALs, the Green Berets. It's a really cool place.
You know, I think I like learning a little bit of information about Tampa from you more than those dad jokes, Kobe.
Don't worry, Wyatt. I got more of those came from.
Oh, boy. Well, it's a 2-goal game now. We're almost at halfway through this third period. A 4-goal comeback would be something to see, but I've seen it before, and the Bolts are really going to have to start ramping up the offensive pressure. It has been all New York in this third period. Well,
one thing that New York's been doing, they've been putting the puck to the net, and you can see Johansson's been under siege a little bit in this third period. The Islanders actually have 33 shots on goal. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they only have 9 right now.
And there is another goal for the Islanders. 3 goals within at least 5 minutes. It's a 1-goal game just like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout from Jon Cooper here.
Well, when it rains, it pours. And the Islanders, they're pouring it on the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. They're putting everything to the net. And right there, what you're going to see from the Islanders is a goal by Tony DeAngelo. He sneaks down, the defenseman kind of gets in a backdoor area, gets himself lost, and picks up that rebound at an opportune time, and he makes no mistake putting that in the back of the net.
Sneaky good offensive defenseman Tony DeAngelo is, and Jon Cooper is going to have to figure something out here for his boys. Islanders fans finally have something to cheer about, and we are back underway 11 minutes ago. The Bolts can't forget, they got a 1-goal lead still. They still have the lead in this game, but if it gets tied up, it's going to get ugly. So they need to just remember, they still are in control, and they need to regain all their momentum.
Well, the Islanders are feeling it right now. 3 goals in 9 minutes. Now we got a hockey game, Wyatt. We got to be at the edge of our seat, just like our puck fans in the crowd there.
This is crazy. I mean, honestly, from an unbiased perspective, you could not ask for a better game here in Hockey Paradise. Thought it was going to be a blowout. I said something too soon. I said it was a typical day for the Bolts, and now, just like that, it is a 1-goal hockey game.
Well, the New York Islanders, they're fighting for their playoff lives. They know what's at stake. We knew they were not going to quit.
Again, a win for the Islanders would put them right into that second wild card spot. That puck's going to go out of play. Look at Johansson. He was doing great all game until Kobe jinxed him. I'm just going to say that right there.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me.
He's doing great all game, but we get to look at him there.
Well, the big Swede, he's going to be all right. He's going to rebound, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to need him to be rock solid as we come into there. And we got to look at those standings, and the New York Islanders, they're chasing those Columbus Blue Jackets for that last playoff spot. And you can see this game for the Lightning, it also has big implications in the Eastern Conference.
The Islanders just 1 point out of a playoff spot, as you saw there. So a 2-point win here. Even an overtime game for the Islanders is good, and they'd be right back into the playoff spot.
Well, the Islanders are known for their stingy defensive play, and that probably comes from their head coach, Patrick Roy, the Hall of Fame goaltender. And you know he's won a couple Stanley Cups, and he's been a good coach for the Islanders this season.
Arguably the greatest goaltender of all time, and he has showed that he is a goaltender in the way he's coached up the Islanders and how they play hockey, a defensive team. But you wouldn't know that right now with all the goals the Islanders are putting on the Lightning.
Well, in the Hockeyverse, the guys come and they go to put on a show. We've seen an offensive show so far in this game.
Seems like the Lightning have actually started to wake up from their little nap time they decided to take. Starting to get a little bit more offensive pressure here, getting into the zone.
Well, that one looked like it might have hit the post there, but right back into the attack. The Islanders are trying to put pressure on the Lightning. And one of those players that we're going to look at right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning is Nick Paul. Nick Paul, he has a great program in Tampa Bay. It's called Points by Paul, and he donates money every time he scores a point, and that benefits the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. And with Nick Paul, the amount of points he's had this year, that's a lot of dough.
What a great guy Nick Paul is, doing all that for the community. It's always the Lightning players. They're always doing a bunch for the community, and the community can actually do something for them right here, because the biggest thing in a comeback kind of game like this is the crowd has got to stay into it. Our Pucks have got to get rowdy. Thunderbugs got to rally the troops. The Manatees start to get going. The Dolphins got to keep jumping, and the Bolts got to rally in these last 8 minutes to hang on to the lead.
That is a lot of rallying, I'll tell you what. The ice is going to be shaking as much as the Bay is going to be shaking as we get into these final 8 minutes of this period.
Nothing louder than Thunder Alley, though, as we see in the background there. Thunder Alley's got to start it. They've got to be the ones to get all the fans in Hockey Paradise, to get them going as we head into the end of this third period.
Well, these two teams, they're used to tight games. Back in February, the Islanders ended up winning in a shootout in Tampa in that game, and it looks like we're in for a treat again today.
And there's our hockey fans in Thunder Alley. Looks like they're getting more excited. They're starting to get amped up. Approaching the end of the third period, this is when the crowd has got to be the loudest. This is when the crowd can impact the game, and they're getting it going, putting the thunder in Thunder Alley.
They're flipping with excitement, that's for sure.
I'm not sure I could ever do that like a puck is. They're just consistently doing backflip after backflip in excitement there.
Well, we're seeing some good energy here, and this game, it's been an interesting twist. It looked like the Tampa Bay Lightning had this game in control, up by a 4-goal lead, and then look at what you saw. The New York Islanders, no quit. They came right back in this hockey game.
Now, I would like to remind everybody that with one more goal, the Tampa Bay Lightning will be at 5, and who knows, Brandon Coburn's got to sing some Garth Brooks if that happens. 5 goals. Thunderbugs getting back into it. You get back into it too. Stick around and watch the end of this game as the Bolts try to hang on to the lead. We are back to end out this game in Hockey Paradise. And we got a little bit of a flipping competition from the Pucks there, getting a rating by the Puck panel. And there we go. I like those rating for the New York Islanders. Style on the bench. Nobody wears the sunglasses better than the Tampa Bay Lightning. I look at our Manatee in the crowd. He's been going crazy all game. I mean, I know you have a history lesson about manatees, Kobe.
Well, I was thinking that maybe one day we could suit up a manatee, he could play goalie. But I remember a story about the New York Islanders. They were looking for new ways to innovate the game. They actually tried a sumo wrestler in the net. I don't think it worked out, though, because they found Ilya Sorokin, and he's been fantastic for them.
Ilya Sorokin is pretty good, but a sumo wrestler would be a good backup goalie just sitting in the net all game. I'd like to see that tried one time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work, but they tried it. I heard that.
That is definitely props to him for giving it a try, and we're going to get an offsides here.
Well, this has been an exciting game that we've seen, and Manatees, well, the Manatees, they're unique to Florida, and they're the closest relative to elephants. Can you believe that, Wyatt? I've seen the Manatees. I've actually gone swimming and snorkeling with them in Crystal River. It's so cool.
That is awesome. I've not gotten to do that. I will have to. But I certainly see the resemblance there between manatees and elephants.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me I look like a manatee. I was going to have to come over there.
I don't know about that.
Well, we're in for a treat here. The last 6 minutes of this game, this is going to be a tight hockey game as we finish up. And you know the Islanders, they're going to be pushing the Tampa Bay Lightning. They don't want to sit back and just play defense. They want to make sure they keep on the attack and keep playing their game as well.
Looks like the Pucks have their own version of a boat parade going on, trying to rally the troops, as I was saying here. No better way to do that than down a water slide into the river, into the bay.
Yeah, and we get a look at the Sunshine Bridge there. That's really cool. It connects Tampa with St. Pete.
And another look at the teddy bear. He's been hanging in all game, taking a nice break after driving around Thunderbug on the jet ski. I won't forget that you said you'd choose a teddy bear to drive you than me. I won't forget that. That's why. 5 goals. We got to root for 5 goals, and we're getting Garth Brooks in here.
Well, 16-year-old drivers and me, I don't know. I got to watch and see. Maybe we'll have to go for a little driving lesson a little bit later after this game.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds like a Bolts win, baby. Bolts win, we do that.
Well, maybe we'll go drive to Culver's and get some cheese curds.
Some Culver's cheese curds would be nice. Well, the Bolts are hanging on to this 1-goal lead, but hanging on is a loose term as the Islanders are storming back in this game. We are back in hockey paradise to wrap up this game. Hopefully no 3-on-3 action if the Bolts can hang on to this lead, but they're gonna have to do a lot of hanging on the way the Islanders have been storming back. And we're getting a nice look at some street hockey going on out there. Doing a lot of passing right there.
This game, like our environment today in Hockey in Paradise, has been wild. We've got a little bit of everything today. One guy that's been hot is Nikita Kucherov. He's got 4 points.
4 points from Kucherov. I will say, I called it in the pregame. I said, maybe a 3-point performance to pass McKinnon for most points in the league. He did me one better. He got 4. And who knows, maybe we see a 5-point performance and finish off with some Garth Brooks with an empty net goal.
You don't want to hear me sing. Trust me.
Oh, believe me, I certainly do.
Well, one of the players that we're going to see a bunch of in the last 5 minutes, when these tight games happen, the Lightning's coach, John Cooper, he likes to use Anthony Cirelli. Anthony Cirelli is very responsible defensively. He makes sure he takes care of the puck. But another thing he does is he's been known for his cooking, Wyatt.
Cooking from Anthony Cirelli. What, has he ever cooked for you guys?
Yeah, he has actually. And he learned a secret chicken Parmesan recipe from his mom and grandparents, and everyone on the team is a big fan except for Brandon Hagel. He said he's always a little concerned that Cirelli might food poison him.
Well, Cirelli might food poison Brandon Hagel. You heard it here first, folks, from Brandon Coburn. I did not know Cirelli was into cooking like that.
You'd never know. A lot of these guys, yes, they are awesome hockey players, but they have all kinds of interests outside of hockey. That's what makes hockey players so fascinating to me.
So what would you say your #1 interest is outside of hockey, Kobe?
Oh, it's being in the hockeyverse, of course.
Being in the hockeyverse. Good answer, good answer. Just under 5 minutes to play now in this third period. The Bolts have finally flipped the switch. They've gotten some offensive pressure, but they got to keep it up because this 5 minutes is going to feel like 50 hanging on to a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, and take a look and keep an eye on the Islanders. They're going to be making sure they apply maximum pressure. And like we mentioned, their coach, Patrick Waugh, he's going to look for an opportunity as it ticks down into the last minute or two where he might pull his goalie for the extra attacker for some 6-on-5 action.
Now, as a player, Kobe, when you're up in a close game like this where it's just edge of your seat the whole time, how long does this last 5 minutes of the game feel?
Well, one of the things that these players are going to want to do is they're going to want to take short shifts. And hockey players, a shift for them usually lasts from 30 seconds to a minute. It's typically around those 45 seconds. You're going so hard out there that anything over that and you are getting extremely tired.
Tell that to some of the kids playing youth hockey, though. I don't know, about 30 to 45-second shifts. Might need to bring that down through the ranks up into the NHL. And we get another view at our goalie cam here. One last look at Jonas Johansson's view. And speaking of goalies, not only are we going to see a goalie cam, we might see an empty net coming up here for the New York Islanders. We know John Cooper likes to pull his goalies early. I'm not sure about Patrick Waugh, though.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. 3.5 minutes might be a little early still. These Islanders are going to have to organize, figure out their attack, and play a little bit of time in the Tampa Bay Lightning zone.
And for those younger fans at home who might not know what we're talking about, pulling a goalie, one team, typically when they're down 1 or 2 goals, can empty their net, so take their goalie out of the net and put an extra skater on and make some 6-on-5 action. And that has got to be one of the best 2-minute moments in any hockey game if there's ever an empty net.
Well, all you're thinking there is, I got to make sure that we're trying to keep the puck out of those dangerous areas. And Jake Guentzel with a wonderful opportunity. He was able to sneak in behind the New York Islanders, and he was going for that ever-important 5th goal. That would have gave them a 2-goal lead, and the insurance would have been awesome.
Jake Guentzel, breakaway. Not very often that'll get stopped. A great save by Sorokin there, keeping the Islanders in this game.
Jake Guentzel, he's going to be kicking himself there. He had a good opportunity. He just couldn't sneak that by Sorokin.
And one thing to watch for in case of an empty netter, we might see Braden Point out there for a hat trick watch. Already got 2 goals on the game. If he gets an empty netter, we could see hat trick time in Hockey Paradise. Not sure if the Pucks have any hats to throw on the ice for him, though.
Check this out, Wyatt. We're inside Sorokin's mask, seeing what he sees in live action.
So inside Sorokin's mask, not something that you usually get to see, especially in end game scenarios, late game scenarios. I'm surprised he's not shaking out of nerves right now, but I understand a goalie as good as him has got to have a lot of confidence.
He sure does, and he's a great goalie. Him and Johansson have been battling it out all game long. Johansson has been faced with 37 shots in this game, Sorokin with 23.
And who knows, if it wasn't for my partner next to me, Johansson might be on his way to a 2nd shutout of the game.
I'm never going to live that down, am I, Wyatt?
Absolutely not.
Well, we're going to see some good action here. The Islanders, what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to make sure they come up in an organized attack and try to get this puck in and just try to force the Tampa Bay Lightning in some sort of turnover here as we move into 2.5 minutes left in this hockey game.
I would not be surprised if the net is already emptied, or at least within the next 30 minutes. Sorokin is still in the net right now, but he should be getting pulled pretty soon.
Well, let's keep an eye out
now
for
he
that.
is going to go to the bench. It'll be an empty net for the New York Islanders with 2:13 to go. Some 6-on-5 action as they're going to get an offensive zone faceoff.
I love this. I love how the Tampa Bay Lightning players are protecting Johansson. You can see them pushing the Islanders out of that crease area. They're going to have to do that because the Islanders are going to be crashing the net as they're trying to get the equalizer.
Another look at Johansson here. Again, all jokes aside, whether you jinxed him or not, even though you did, he has been great in net for them. He's been great not replacing, but filling in for Vasilevsky. Not much more you can ask about your goalie, and it looks like it's going to be a New York Islanders timeout here. Kobe, I know you've been a part of a few timeouts. Could you walk me through what's happening?
Yeah, Wyatt, absolutely. So what's happening in the timeout is the coach, he's getting that whiteboard out. He's drawing up a top secret play for his team. So what they're going to think about is, what are we going to do if we win the faceoff? And they also have a plan for if they lose the faceoff. So everybody's on the same page. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're going to be talking about to their players as well about what kind of plays they might have to expect from the New York Islanders. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse game that we're going to see here in the last 2 minutes of teams that are trying to use kind of different plays. But the biggest thing that we're going to see is these guys are going to be pushing hard.
Have you ever seen one of these plays drawn up at a timeout executed perfectly?
Oh, all the time. These coaches, these players, they play on such a high level. You see this all the time. But, you know, it's just, this is the fun. You're in the last 2 minutes, a little bit of everything.
Let's take a look at some highlights from this game. Kicking it off all the way in the first period. Kucherov and Perbix starting off the scoring, got the Bolts going, and then Braden Point made it 3-0 Tampa Bay. And again, Braden Point goal right here. Beautiful pass. Makes it 4-0 to end the second. Game was all but over, it seemed like, but then the Islanders were able to put in 3 goals in the third period. They went on a run. And just like that, it's a 1-goal hockey game with under 2 minutes to go.
It sure is. And at that point, you thought maybe this game was over. But in this third period, it's been all New York Islanders. They've been storming back. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're going to try to hold on and preserve. They don't want to blow a 4-0 lead. Nobody wants to blow a 4-0 lead.
And the puck panel is getting the crowd going. Saw him on the beach there. You see him on the stands there, trying to start a Let's Go Bolts chant. Always works for the Lightning, as anybody a part of the Thunder, especially in Thunder Alley, can rally the troops here.
Well, this energy's been undeniable. And with the net open, you're going to see The Tampa Bay Lightning trying to get an empty net goal here in the last minute and a half.
Seemed like they might have a chance there, but the Islanders end up getting the puck back, bringing it into the offensive zone, and they're gonna be able to set up shop here and have about 90 seconds to try and put one goal in.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat, Wyatt. I know everyone back home is on the edge of their seat, just waiting to see what's going to happen with the end of this game.
Minute and a half. Last time these two teams met, we saw a last-second goal. It was by the Lightning, though. It was Kucherov able to get it. And here's Kucherov again for the empty netter. He's waiting. He gets Hagel. Oh, why didn't he shoot it? We'll never know. Hagel can't get it through, but here's Cirelli. He's regrouping about 70 seconds. I'm not sure what Kucherov was seeing there. Seemed like he had a wide-open shot. Kind of iced the game, but now it's a puck battle on the boards. We'll see if he lives to regret that one.
What is going on? I can't believe Kucherov didn't put that in the back of the net. He is such an unselfish player. He was looking for a teammate to try to pass it to give them the goal.
He absolutely was. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him here, though, as there still is 45 seconds. And that one looks like it will be an icing. So the Islanders are going to get an offensive zone faceoff now.
I don't know what Kuch was thinking here. You could see McDonough makes the nice block, and then Kucherov, he's just him and the open net, and he's thinking, Brandon Hagel, take this puck. Hagel's just not able to handle that. It would have been an easy goal, but that just goes to show you Nikita Kucherov always looking for the pass. I would have loved to see him just shoot that in the open net and ice this game.
Kobe, I know you have some insider sources, so I better not catch you texting the Bolts telling them not to make it 5, trying to avoid some Garth Brooks here.
Well, right off that faceoff, we see a long distance shot from the Lightning. That almost went in. That almost ended the game right there.
And they beat the icing as well, which was huge. So under 30 seconds to go. So the hits on the board. Hedman has the puck. 20 seconds left. He gets it out. Oh, wait, here's Kucherov. He better shoot it this time. He goes over to Gensel, and they score!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is a 5-point night for Nikita Kucherov. That puts the icing on the cake. Jake Gensel, what a game from him, too. And Thunderbug is jacked up as anybody. He's firing the Tesla coil.
Well, you know what time it is, Kobe.
You want me to sing? Are you serious?
I need some Garth Brooks out of you now. 5-point performance from Cooch. You can do some Garth Brooks here.
What do I got? I got friends in low places. How about that?
Let's hear it.
Well, I got friends in low places. How do you like that, Wyatt?
That was pretty good. I'll give it to you there. Looks like the Bolts are going to pick up the win. Just 13 seconds left, and they're up 2 goals. Gave us a little bit of a scare there in the third period, but it looks like they're going to escape hockey paradise alive.
Well, Bolts Nation, celebrate with the Bolts when they get the W with Papa John's. That's right, parents. The day after every Bolts victory, that's every win, you and your family can enjoy 50% off the online order with your regular menu price pizzas. Just use the promo code BoltsW and beat a Thunder and feed your hunger. Papa John's, the official pizza partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And just like that, it is official. The Bolts pick up the win in hockey paradise. We could not have asked for a better game. Started to get a little bit like, oh, this might be a blowout, but they kept us on the edge of our seats. They kept us here all game. And the Bolts win it 5-3, and they pick up a big one, now first in the Atlantic Division.
Why, I can't remember I've had more fun watching a hockey game than watching with you here today. This was awesome. This environment, everything about Tampa Bay hockey, it seems like it's encompassed right here in the Hockeyverse.
The feeling is mutual, Kobe. This has been my best time ever watching a hockey game, except for maybe when they won the Stanley Cup against Montreal that one time. But this is definitely up there. This has been a great experience, and where else but the Hockeyverse do we get a game like this?
That's right. These guys, they're acknowledging the puck people, the puck fans, for all their contributions, from the Manatees, the puck people, to the Dolphins. And of course, it's Kids Day in Tampa Bay, so the Teddy Bears are excited too.
We'd also like to thank anybody who tuned in to watch the Hockeyverse with us. Thanks for sticking with us throughout the game, watching this amazing game, and hopefully you had just as much fun as we did as we get a little bit of a recap here, watching all the goals, get to see the Dolphins, and at this point we're thinking, hey, maybe we win the game right there at the second period. but the Islanders storm back, but it is not until a Jake Gensel empty net goal right after this pull-out goal. So that one started it. Jake Gensel ends it, though. 5-3, the Bolts get out on top.
Well, Wyatt, this has been fun. Hockey Burst has been fun. Hockey in Paradise, great times.
This has got to happen again. Hockey Paradise, this will not be the last time. I sure hope so.
All right, go Bolts.
Go Bolts.